Welcome. This is Stein North again, and all of us here at Camp Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals want to thank you for stopping by to see another video. This video is going to be kind of more of a fun, informative video. If you haven't seen our webpage, please take the time and right from the channel page of YouTube, there's a link to it up in the top. And if you go to the section called Sty Tips, you'll see some little informative sections under Sty Tips. And I'm going to do one of those Sty Tips for a video today. And that one is, what's that smell? Well, people see that on our webpage and they really wonder, what's that smell? Well, really what that's about is, I hear it quite often amongst, especially hunters. We talk about that all the time. How do we cover our scent so that animals don't detect us while we're hunting and that sort of thing? Well, when you're in a wilderness experience, you're in the great outdoors, there's a lot of questions as to how odors affect your experience while you're out camping. Well, I've been in the backcountry with a few people where, oddly enough, I prefer to go home. I prefer to go back to town because you couldn't get within 50 feet of them without just about gagging. Well, that's not very pleasant. But one thing that does not belong in the outdoors, along with smelling so bad that you think that there's a dead animal nearby, is expensive French perfume and Old Spice really don't have a place out there. Most perfumes are based on very pleasant scents. A lot of them are fruity smelling, or they smell like flowers. They're very pleasant. Old Spice, yeah, smells like spice. I tell people, and I've by experience seen it occur, that if you're in an environment where you might have an animal that would be interested in being attracted to you for whatever their reason may be, the last thing you'd want to do is say, well, I've heard people say, well, when we're in bear country, the last thing I want is a bear to think that I'm his next snack. Well, throw a little spice on that snack, why don't you? Why don't you put something fruity on it? Why don't you attract that bear thinking that you're well seasoned? Certain perfumes trigger certain reactions by animals. Some predators can become aggressive due to different odors. So using commercial perfumes, aftershaves, colognes, deodorants could trigger an aggressive reaction from a predator. Also, certain scents can trigger even non-predators, such as deer, during the rut, late season. If you're out there wilderness camping in the late season and the deer are in the rut, there's certain odors that can actually aggravate a buck deer into becoming aggressive and coming after you. The best thing you can do to avoid that kind of animal encounter is not to smell like a fruit basket, but to smell like a person, smell like a human. Most animals don't want anything to do with us humans. They'd prefer to stay clear of us humans. So let them know you're there. Smell like a human. There's nothing wrong with smelling clean. In fact, I prefer to smell clean. I want everybody around me to preferably smell clean. But smelling clean and natural, that's smelling human. Masking our human scent to the point where we're, like I said, turning ourselves into a fruit basket or smelling like a walking buffet, that's just not the wise thing to do. So, what is that smell? I've been in the backcountry and actually I was sitting on a outcrop of rock on a ridge, and I got this smell. I couldn't believe it. I thought, boy, it smells like I'm in a barber shop or something. And it was about 45 minutes later, an individual comes hiking up a trail just behind where I was sitting, and he was downwind of me. So I walked to the trail just to let him know I was there. Didn't want to scare him, so I walked out to the trail, and I got upwind of him, and boom, it hit me. That fella had a bunch of cologne on, or aftershave slapped on his face, but I smelled him, oh Lord, almost a half a mile away, out in an extremely remote wilderness area. Now, animals have a much more sensitive ability of picking up those smells than we do. So why invite that problem? And be kind to your fellow campers. And like I said, you don't want your fellow campers going, what's that smell? Because it could be because you're using these artificially scented products, or because you are not staying clean. So don't become the skunk in the camp, but don't become the fruit basket either. So all of you, camp safe. Don't go out there smelling like somebody's next snack. And from Stye North, Big Jim and Rory, you will all have a nice, well-scented, clean camping trip, and you have a nice day.